6 Signs of a Stupid Man, Stoicism, Stoic Love. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. William Shakespeare. There is a certain type of man who walks through life unaware of his own folly. He repeats the same mistakes, convinced of his rightness, while those around him can only watch in silence, shaking their heads in disbelief. He is oblivious to the truth of his actions, trapped in a cycle of self-deception. The tragic part? He doesn't even realize the damage he's causing, not only to himself, but to those around him. And here's the thing, if you're not mindful, you could easily fall into this trap. But it doesn't have to be this way. Stupidity isn't about lacking intelligence, it's a mindset, a way of thinking that clouds judgment and stunts growth. It poisons decisions, sabotages relationships, and can reduce a man to nothing more than a laughingstock. The question now is, do you recognize these signs in yourself? Let's take a look, because today we're turning this around. Sign number 1, he argues more than he listens. A man who argues more than he listens often lives trapped in a cycle of ignorance, convinced that his own perspective is the only one that matters. Have you ever met someone who must always be right, no matter how flawed or misguided his views may be? He's the type of person who will argue endlessly, twisting words and facts, throwing tantrums, or avoiding any situation where he might be proven wrong. For him, admitting that he is wrong is an unbearable defeat. Instead of listening to others, he simply waits for his turn to speak, ready to unleash a defense that sounds more like a series of excuses than an actual conversation. And when someone smarter, more insightful, or more experienced challenges him, he immediately becomes defensive, almost as if he's personally under attack. But why does he react this way? Deep down, he knows that his knowledge is limited, but his ego is too fragile to accept the truth. He fights against it, clinging desperately to the illusion of control and certainty. The Stoics had a word for this behavior: arrogance. It is the refusal to accept that we are not all-knowing, and the unwillingness to admit that others may have valuable insights. In their wisdom, the Stoics taught that true wisdom comes not from being right all the time, but from being willing to learn, to question, and to grow. A wise man doesn't need to be the loudest voice in the room or win every argument. Instead, he embraces the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. He understands that growth comes from listening to others, especially when their views challenge his own. On the other hand, the fool resists truth because it might bruise his ego. He digs his own grave, not by being wrong, but by refusing to accept that he could be. So, ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened? Not just to respond, but to learn and understand the other person's point of view? When was the last time you allowed someone to speak without feeling the need to argue or justify yourself? The truth is, we can never grow if we're constantly in defense mode. We can never gain wisdom if we're too proud to hear another perspective. The Stoics believed that wisdom comes from knowing how little we truly understand. It's the humility to admit that there's always room for growth, no matter how much we think we know. This is a lesson in emotional mastery. When you let go of the need to win, you open yourself up to learning and evolving. So I challenge you to pause and reflect. How often do you listen with the intent to understand, rather than to defend? When you allow yourself to truly listen, without any need to prove your own superiority, you unlock the door to personal growth. I encourage you to share in the comments below. When was the last time you learned something that made you change your mind or reframe your perspective? Let's engage in meaningful dialogue, challenge each other, and grow together. Let's leave behind the arrogance that keeps us stuck and embrace the wisdom that comes from listening, learning, and evolving. Comment to remember: I'm a man who listens to learn, not to defend. Sign number 2. He thinks luck matters more than discipline. The foolish man often believes that luck is the key to success, thinking that it's all about being in the right place at the right time, or having the right opportunities handed to him on a silver platter. He looks at those who have achieved greatness, whether in wealth, health, or personal growth, and immediately dismisses their success as a product of chance. He says, "It must be nice. They just got lucky." He sees a wealthy man and assumes that he must have cut corners or cheated to get ahead. He observes someone with an impressive physique and assumes it's all due to superior genetics. But the real question is, what is this man doing to improve his own life? The answer is often nothing. Instead of taking action, he spends his time making excuses and blaming his lack of progress on external factors, like luck or circumstances. The truth is, this man is lazy. He refuses to take responsibility for his own shortcomings and instead creates a fantasy world where success is something that just happens by chance. By doing so, he shields himself from the uncomfortable reality that his own actions, or lack thereof, are the root cause of his stagnation. In contrast, a wise man, a man who lives with purpose and discipline, knows that luck is nothing more than the result of consistent effort and hard work over time. He understands that success isn't just handed out to those who wait. It's earned by showing up day after day, putting in the effort, and doing the work, even when it seems like no one is watching. This is the Stoic perspective. True success is not about avoiding struggle or hoping for a break, but about developing the character and discipline to stay the course, no matter the circumstances. When you commit to the grind, when you build habits of consistency and focus, you begin to create your own luck. The more disciplined you are, the more you position yourself for opportunities to arise. Over time, what seemed like luck is simply the result of your relentless pursuit of growth. So, instead of blaming external forces, ask yourself, what are you doing to improve? Are you taking action, or are you waiting for things to happen on their own? A truly successful man doesn't wait for luck to knock on his door, he works tirelessly until it does. If you want to be the person who others look at and say, "He's lucky," remember, luck is just discipline over time. Put in the work, stay consistent, and watch as your own version of luck begins to unfold. Comment to remember, I create my own luck through discipline. Sign number 3, he wastes his time on meaningless battles. The stupid man wastes his time on meaningless battles. He engages in pointless arguments over trivial matters, sparking debates with strangers online about politics, religion, or irrelevant opinions. These fights aren't about truth, they're about ego, about the need to be right. He spends hours, days even, on these fruitless exchanges, convincing himself he's making a difference, but in reality, he changes nothing. He achieves nothing. His energy is drained, his time wasted. He's stuck in an endless loop of proving points that don't matter. But the wise man, he knows that time is his most valuable resource, and he guards it fiercely. He doesn't waste his energy on things that don't move him forward. He knows when to speak, when to act, and when to remain silent. He chooses his battles wisely, understanding that not all conflicts are worth his attention. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow." That's the mindset of the wise man. He makes deliberate choices about where he invests his time and energy. He focuses on what truly matters, not on empty distractions. Now, ask yourself, how many times have you engaged in pointless arguments, giving your energy to things that ultimately don't change the course of your life? Think about the last time you spent an hour or more arguing over something that left you feeling empty afterward. How much could you have achieved in that time instead? How many meaningful goals could you have pursued? Time is the one thing you can never get back. The smart man understands that every minute counts. He makes his choices with purpose, using his time to improve himself, to build meaningful relationships, to invest in his future. He doesn't waste his energy on battles that don't matter, and neither should you. If you're ready to stop wasting your time on the trivial, comment below with, "I choose my battles wisely." Like this video, share it with those who need to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe for more life-changing insights. Remember, time waits for no one. Choose wisely, live purposefully, and take control of your life today. Sign number 4. He thinks his feelings are more important than reality. A man who lets his feelings rule his life is blind to reality, and that is one of the clearest signs of foolishness. He allows his emotions to dictate his actions, responding impulsively to anger, sadness, or any offense to his ego. If he feels hurt, he reacts aggressively. If he feels defeated, he gives up without a fight. He believes that the world should bend to accommodate his emotions, but the truth is, the world doesn't care. It's an important lesson every man must learn. Your emotions are transient, just like waves in the ocean. They come and go, but they don't control you unless you let them. Instead of fighting these emotions or drowning in them, a wise man learns to surf them. He acknowledges their presence but doesn't let them shape his choices. Emotions are natural, yes, but they should never be the driving force behind your decisions. Remember, as the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. A foolish man reacts without thinking, becoming a slave to his emotions, while a wise man commands them, controlling how they influence his behavior. The difference between the two is simple but profound. One is reactive and the other is proactive, standing firm in wisdom and discipline. Take control of your emotions, and instead of letting them rule you, become the master of them. By doing so, you'll stop being a slave to your feelings and start living with purpose. How do you handle your emotions? Do you let them dictate your actions, or do you master them like a true Stoic? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Comment to remember, I control my emotions, they don't control me. Sign number 5. He never learns from his mistakes. Have you ever encountered a man who seems to keep making the same mistakes again and again, never learning from them? It's almost as if he's trapped in a loop. Maybe he keeps entering toxic relationships. Maybe he's throwing his money away on pointless things. Or perhaps he places his trust in the wrong people time and time again. And every time you hear the same excuse. I just have bad luck. But let me tell you this. It's not bad luck that's dragging you down. It's bad patterns. A foolish man is stuck in a cycle of repeated failures because he never takes the time to truly learn from them. He never asks himself, what went wrong? What could I have done differently? Instead, he simply jumps right back into the same mistakes, hoping somehow things will turn out differently, even though history tells him otherwise. Now consider the wise man. A wise man doesn't waste time blaming luck or other factors. He takes a step back, analyzes what went wrong, and adjusts his approach. He doesn't make the same mistake twice because he understands that growth comes from learning, from self-awareness, and from the courage to change. So, ask yourself, are you the man who keeps repeating the same mistakes, or are you the wise man who learns from his experiences and evolves? Your patterns shape your future. Choose wisely. This version expands on the ideas while maintaining the original message, making it smoother and easier to follow while tying the lesson to real life. It uses a direct call to self-reflection, inviting the audience to engage with the content and make positive changes in their own lives. Sign number 6. He surrounds himself with other stupid people. A man's circle of friends speaks volumes about who he is and who he's becoming. Think about it. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. A foolish man consistently surrounds himself with other weak individuals, losers, complainers, gossipers, those who waste time, make excuses, and hold each other back like crabs in a bucket. Why does he do this? Because it's comfortable. It's easy. He avoids confrontation, he avoids challenge, and he remains stagnant, thinking that by staying within his comfort zone, he's safe. But this is the trap of mediocrity, and it leads only to one place: stupidity. If you're always the smartest in the room, you're not growing, you're not challenging yourself, you're getting comfortable with the status quo, which is exactly the opposite of what the Stoics taught. The wise man, the true master of his own fate, chooses a different path. He seeks out those who are ahead of him, those who challenge him, those who push him to his limits and force him to elevate himself. He's not afraid to be the dumbest in the room because he knows that this is how he learns. This is how he becomes better. He understands that growth only happens through discomfort. His circle consists of people who force him to reflect, to strive, and to level up, not those who keep him in a constant state of self-congratulation. So, look around you. Who are you surrounded by? Are they elevating you, challenging you to become a better version of yourself, or are they keeping you stuck in your old habits and excuses? The reality is, you become like the people you spend the most time with. If you want to grow, if you want to evolve, it's time to make a choice. Choose your circle wisely. Don't settle for the crabs in the bucket. Find those who inspire you, who challenge you, who make you uncomfortable in all the right ways. Surround yourself with people who push you to become the person you were always meant to be. Remember, you can't change your life without first changing your circle. Take this moment to reflect on your friendships. Ask yourself, are they helping me grow, or are they keeping me stuck in the same place? If you're ready to move forward, ready to level up, it starts with who you choose to surround yourself with. Drop a comment below saying, I choose growth over comfort. Like and subscribe for more wisdom that will guide you to greatness. Now you know the signs, but here's the real question. What are you going to do about it? The world is filled with men who fall into these traps, but you don't have to be one of them. You have the power to wake up, to change, and to step into a life of wisdom. If this video helped you see things differently, then do one thing for yourself. Hit that like button and subscribe. Not for me, but for you. Because this is just the beginning. Keep growing, keep learning, and remember, your best self is just a decision away. Stay wise, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next one.